I'm kind of getting some emails um, of people that are kind of recognizing there's some really wild shit going on. And the earth is making a lot of changes right now. Um, Ice is being jumped off the Greenland. I think they lost a big chunk of ice. That's going to make some major shifts in our currents and our air flow, which will affect weather. Um, we're noticing that the planets are starting to align perfectly together. I think they're calling it with the Milky Way. A lot of planets are making changes. So this global warming isn't necessarily us doing it, um, but it's a global thing, and there's kind of this war going on that there's nothing wrong with us. It's the outside world doing it to us, and we're starting to notice a lot of um, spirals, and all of this unknown shit is creating a lot of fear. And while we don't think that um, it's the universe doing it to us, then we have no control. It's like if I want to see that the Illuminati are doing something to me, then I have absolutely no control. Yet there's only a few of them, and they lose total control if I just don't follow their ways. And the same rule applies within the universe, that the universe is not doing anything to us. We are doing something that's creating the universal experience. And we're not kind of opening up to that. But from the sciences that I've been studying, there's a study of the bigger world, the universe, the galaxies, and there's a new science called quantum physics, which is the study of the smallest aspect of ourselves. And it turns out, like I mentioned before, this Mandelbrot said, like there's a bunch of new sciences out there that are kind of putting the puzzle together. And this Mandelbrot set is saying that it's the same pattern over and over again. And what's in the smallness, what you can see in the quantum world, the very smallest aspect of a cell, um, is exactly the same picture within our galaxies, within the universal bigness of our world. So that's why you can kind of, if you want to understand life, if you understand the smallness of something, then you can understand the bigness. And if you can't understand the smallness, then understand the bigness and you can understand the smallness. Sometimes you can't understand the bigness, but you can see something in the smallness that you can understand. And by putting the two together regularly, then you can eventually unfold a bigger picture. Now, with that concept, you have to understand that there's an epicenter. There is a source that causes everything to happen, and we haven't really pinpointed where is that starting point, where is that epic center that is the driving force behind everything that we experience in our reality. We are. Humanity is. And what I've kind of noticed is, and first of all, you got to understand that if what happened to me and what I'm saying, I was saying this even 30 years ago, people would have labeled me totally insane and I'd be in an insane asylum. They still think I'm a little crazy. They kind of pay me to be crazy, because they can't comprehend my logic. They're using completely different logic. And I know that my process of healing myself is to, okay, I need to calm down. I don't need to look so angry, because when I'm angry, nobody can understand you. And when you're angry, you can't communicate effectively. So while I'm angry that, hey, stop hurting me, stop it, stop it, stop it. I need you to stop your behavior because it's killing me. I've had to calm down, and kind of communicate the message, Your behavior is killing me. And then it's how I comprehend that. And I've kind of seen that, okay, not only do I have to calm myself down, but we are all human beings that need to learn science because we want to see something in history. We want to see something in our science books. We need to see that if it's true, we need to make a law, and then that law has to be true all over. You got to kind of understand what science is. And you have to understand that all of us will never ever change a path or change a belief unless it's scientifically proven. Okay, so I got to study science. And I got to be able to be good at communicating science so I can affect the world that I live in. But I also know through studying these sciences and through, I am the source of it. I'm the one that had to calm down before I could get anybody else to understand anything that I'm saying. So if I change my world, then the world outside me tends to change. If I study science, then it should apply to me first. So I have to use these sciences that I use to change myself so that anybody can understand the sciences that I'm trying to explain. Because if it works for me, then it'll work for everybody else. If it's just talk, then nobody's going to believe a word you say because it's like, prove it. So um, the world that we know is not what we think it is. We have a lot of sciences that aren't necessarily true. What does science do? They always, as soon as somebody comes up with a scientific law, then there's somebody out there, another scientist, that's going to disprove that law. So right now, there's a lot of sciences that are disproving a lot of shit that's out there. And why is our world getting destroyed? Well, let's just think. If somebody's doing a lot of things to harm me, if our economic systems, our government systems, our legal systems are something that I can't function within, if I follow all of those laws and trust and have faith that everybody else is following those laws, then I'm the one that gets injured. So it's like we got to kind of look at what our laws are and are we actually following them? And do they make any common sense at all? And while I'm in my pain, it's like, what's going on in my head? It's like the world's coming to an end. The world is screwed up. um, I want the world to fall apart. The world is falling apart. So we're seeing the sciences. I mean, basically, all our technology, as soon as we understand what human capability is, then we ended up putting it in our technology. We're not seeing that our ideas of technology are actually coming from us and what we are capable of doing. We just try and improve what us can do and trying to make it better. Like computers, they have memory, they have processing. That's what humans do, but they wanted it to be bigger and faster than what human capability is doing. But it doesn't mean that we aren't capable of doing exactly what a computer can do. We just don't know how to do it as well. But that's like trial and error and practice and knowing that you can do it in the first place. So we have these HARP that is using scalar waves to, our new latest weapon. And yet we have little hints in our Bibles that we don't tend to follow that says when two minds get together, it's stronger. There is science that says that you have an energy force. What you choose to believe and put your energy towards ends up getting created. So in actual, and science is proving that we're nothing but antennas. We send and receive information in many different ways. Your smell, taste, hearing, eyes, but intuition. And we can send out scalar waves using our intuition. And if we have more than one mind working on that, we could be the biggest weapon going on. My biggest point is the more people that are being harmed by all the problems that we don't want to solve, the global mindset is saying the world is falling apart. So on the universal level of our experiences, if you have that many people sending out the scalar waves of our world is falling apart, our world will fall apart. And if you look in the bigness of everything, if you are going to be in fear, and angry, then it will destroy you completely. It's like how you handle yourself in the event horizon of the experiences that you're about to have will determine whether you fall apart or grow and get stronger and access some of your strongest strengths, your capabilities you never thought you were possible for. So while we see that in our universal world, our world is actually changing, there's a lot of shit going on that could be scary. If you are not scared and just know we're in development of um, learning from our mistakes. If we start all on a global level, the people that are suffering the most, if we can just show them love and show them how to be not in fear, that we will all look after each other, that we do all want change. And yes, I understand you see the world as a lot of problems, but we're going to fix everything. If we can globally let everybody know that, then we'll pass through this learning phase that we need to go through and we'll come out of it stronger. If we don't, then it'll be our destruction. So that's why 2012 can be our destruction, or it can be this big awakening. And my message is don't be fearful. There's going to be a lot of shit that you won't understand. It'll look really big and scary, but don't be scared. Just try and understand what's going on, because a lot of things you thought were true are not going to be true. And the unknown is scary, but don't be scared of it. Have control and have some faith, and look at self first.